The format of today's discussion and the main topic points that we're going to try to get to grips with. So this is obviously the results of the survey, but that's not the only survey we're going to be looking at today. We are going to be conducting an interactive survey of your opinions on a lot of these issues.
The two aspects to it, I think where the business priority at the minute is, it's very much on regulatory compliance given the landscape and the runway of regulation that's coming in for the rest of 2017 and into 2018. So I think a lot of businesses have been focused on crowbarring those changes and making sure their platforms and data capabilities are up to speed with that. So for a lot of our clients, I think innovation and changing what they want to do has been slightly lower down the priority. So I think that's where the current state is.
So Coutts has had a digital proposition since 1999. It did well for quite a while, and then it got a little bit stale and unloved, and it needed a bit more investment. And so we used that as an opportunity 6 years ago now to make quite a technology leap and put to one side what we had and build from scratch. And we built from scratch and we integrated it into the core banking platform, which is often where the real critical task and the heavy lifting actually happens. That was hard. It took a lot of money, and it took a number of years. And there was an opportunity cost associated with that in the period where we weren't doing anything other than that.
Just a small point. These client portals, how many of those are built in-house and how many are just white-labelled platforms that you can't actually improve the user experience? I would doubt that there are many teams running with front-end engineers and back-end engineers making sure that that is a beautiful, wonderful experience. I believe that to be part of the future digital strategy.
What's the balance between the digital strategy client-facing versus internal?
I actually thought that was quite an interesting statistic that only around 13% said they had a unified portal. Because for me, and I'm slightly biased, I'm a technology vendor, but for me that means that people are doing things twice. It means they're looking at their client portal and how do I create my client view, and then they're looking separately at how do I give my staff a view of the client. What you want to be doing is you want to be saying is how do I collect together information about my client, and how do I present that to my clients through different channels, whether it's an app or a portal, and how do I present that to my staff so that people are looking at the same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a great event. I thought the panel were excellent. I particularly liked some of the younger views that were coming across, and some very strong views in there in terms of how we develop for the future.
I thought the engagement from the crowd was particularly good. I thought the panel had some interesting thoughts, and I think the fact that it was very topical and looking towards 2018 discretionary spend rather than 2017 regulatory interest is the important and interesting part of it.
I need to not just look at digitising existing processes and just repeating what people do now but on a digital channel. It was how do we reinvent the way that we engage clients, how do we reinvent the way we do business, how do we get new clients into investing that might not potentially have previously even thought about it or been engaged.
It's been interesting to see how the surveys changed over the years. I do think there's a much greater sense of where people need to head now as both the technologies and the approaches and the understanding matures.
It's clearly a hot topic within wealth management and some useful insights. It's nice to sit alongside our competitors sometimes.